Hello everyone, welcome to day 6 Algebra 1 notes on solving equations. So first up we have solve these one-step equations below. So we're going to start off with 3x equals 21. And remember, to solve equations you want to undo operations. So here we're multiplying. To undo multiplication I'm going to divide both sides by 3 to get x by itself. And 21 divided by 3 is 7. And that's it. Second one, we're adding 1. So to undo adding 1, I'm going to subtract 1. And I get x equals 4. Again, showing your work here. X minus 3 equals 8. So to undo subtracting 3, we're going to add 3. That'll get us x equals 11. And finally, division. Remember, fraction symbol means to divide. So the opposite of division is multiplication. Multiply both sides by 3, and x equals negative 15. Sometimes we need more than one step. Sometimes we have two-step equations. Okay, this should not be there. So we have 3x minus 5 equals 16. We're going to kind of undo PEMDAS. So we're going to start away from the variable here. So here I'm going to start with this minus 5 to get rid of that. I'm going to add 5. This will get me 3x equals 21. And it's just like what we did for the first problem. We'll divide by 3 and x equals 7. The second two have got some fractions here. The equals 6 should be here. We got x over 3 minus 5 equals 4. And we got x plus 7 over 4 equals 6. Now here we have a fraction followed by a number. Here we have one big fraction. So the difference is here the 5 is away from the variable. It would be second in PEMDAS, so we're kind of doing reverse PEMDAS here. So we would add 5 to both sides first. Here, our addition is part of the fraction. So as you can see, x is with the 7, and then the 4 is down here. So we're actually going to get rid of the fraction first. We're going to multiply both sides by 4 first over here. So we add 5, we get x over 3 equals 9. Here we multiply both sides by 4. We get x plus 7 equals 24. These 4's cancel. Now for this one, we're going to multiply both sides by 3. And x will be 27. And now for this one, we're going to minus 7 from both sides. And x will equal, well, let's see, 24 minus 7. Oh, I got to borrow. So we got 14 minus 7 is 7. 1 minus nothing is going to be 17. Okay, so just be careful. Here, you're going to start with the addition or subtraction. Here, you're actually going to start with the multiplication if you just have one big fraction. And if you want to pause the video right here and do one step and two step, that might be a good idea. Just get those out of the way. Okay, now on to multi-step equations. First, I'm going to look on the same side of the equal sign here. So we have 3x plus 5 minus x equals 2 plus 15. Again, remember, this is your computer screen. That's why I'm not writing on it, except the little mistake that I made. So here, we're going to look to the left of the equal sign. I got some like terms I can combine. 3x minus x is 2x. Plus 5 equals, and now on this side of the equal sign, well, I got a 2 and I got a positive 15. That's 17. And now I can go right into my subtract 5 from both sides. 2x will equal 12, and divide both sides by 2, and x equals 6. Okay, so that's if you have some combining like terms. Here on this one, 8x minus 4 equals 7x plus 10. Here on this side of the equal sign, I can't combine those. Those are not like terms. Here on this side, I can't combine those. Those are not like terms. This is variables on both sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the smallest x term. 7x is smaller than 8x. And I'm going to cancel out that 7x by subtracting 7x from both sides. 8x minus 7x is 1x. Minus 4 equals, those cancel, 10. And then we add 4 to both sides. We get 1x equals 14. And some of you like to go ahead and divide by 1 and get x equals 14. That's perfectly fine. And if this was like a 2 or something, we would have to divide by 2, but it's just a 1. All right, so you want to pause the video here. Right, your first one of multi-step is like this one, and your second step of multi-step is like this one. So one is combining, and one is you gotta get rid of that smallest x term first. Okay, so if you pause the video and you're back, now we're on to equations from word problems. So you're gonna make 4 equations, 1 addition, 1 subtraction, 1 multiplication, and 1 division. And then we're going to solve them. So here we have John was gifted a pack of crayons. He gave 13 crayons to his friend Rhea and was left with 11 crayons. How many crayons did the pack contain? So if we look here, he was left with 11 crayons. So that's a final total. So we're going to have an equals 11. If he gave 13 crayons to his friend, well, that means he got rid of them. And to get rid of things, we subtract things. So that would be minus 13. And how many crayons did the pack contain? Well, that's a starting point, and we don't know it. So that's going to be x. So we have x minus 13 equals 11. And we go ahead and solve it. Add 13 to both sides, and we get x equals 24 crayons. And so I'm looking for an equation, and I'm looking for you to solve it. Number 2. Trevor takes up a test at school and completes it in an hour. So it's completed in an hour. So again, to me, that sounds like a total, but I'm going to keep reading. The test has 2 sections. Okay. If he takes 35 minutes to complete the first section, how much time does he have left to complete the second section? All right, so we do have a total here of an hour, and we have hour in minutes. So an hour is going to be 60 minutes. So we have 1 hour equals 60 minutes. And I'm using minutes because it uses minutes here. So we have an equal 60. He takes 35 minutes to complete the first section. How much time does he have to complete the second section? So it's the first section plus the second section totals out to an hour. So the first section was 35 minutes. Plus, I have no idea what the second section is, so that's going to be x. And here we have 35 plus x equals 60, which is the same exact thing as x plus 35 equals 60. They just switched around. That's perfectly fine. So we're going to minus 35 from both sides. And we'll get x equals, whoop, got to borrow here, 25 minutes. Okay, so you could have said x plus 35 equals 60. That's fine as well. Next one. Jamie paid the rent well past the due date for the months of April, May, and June. As a result, he had been charged a total of $75 as a late fee. So bam, equals 75. I got a total. How much did he pay as a late fee per month? And that word per is an indication. We're going to use some multiplication and division here. So I have 3 months, April, May, and June. I don't know how much the late fee is per month, but I know it's a total of 75. And April, May, and June is 3 months. So I have 3 months multiplied by the fee, which I don't know. So we have 3x equals 75. And so we're going to divide both sides by 3, and x equals $25 per month. Okay, so April he paid 25, May he paid 25, and June he paid 25. Don't be late with your bills. All right, and the last one can actually be solved 2 different ways, because if you've been paying attention, we had 1 addition, 1 subtraction, 1 multiplication, therefore this must be division. We have the kindergarten section of Leahy Valley has 12 classrooms. If each classroom can accommodate 15 kids, how many kids can the kindergarten section accommodate in all? So we have trying to find the total here, but we're still going to use division. So I have X amount of kids. I don't know the total amount of kids, but I can divide kids into 12 classrooms, and I have to get 15 kids per class. Or I have X amount of kids. I have to group them into groups of 15 kids, and I can have a total of 12 groups. And here, in both cases, to solve these, this one we're going to multiply by 12. This one we're going to multiply by 15. But in both cases, I'm multiplying 15 times 12 or 12 times 15. These numbers are interchangeable. It depends on how you look at it. So either way, 15 times 12, well, I'm not sure. So let's see, we got 10, 2, 3, placeholder here, 15, so it's going to be 180. So we have x equals 180 kids, and that's how many kids that the school can accommodate. Okay, so make sure you have an equation. Again, this one, there's 2 different ways to kind of do it. You can look at it either way. So you're going to have 1 addition, 1 subtraction, 1 multiplication, and 1 division problem.